Susan.
Yes, she is.
Mr. White. I don't want to like fall over this, you know what I'm saying? It could happen.
Are we having fun yet?
So, thank you for coming, and I'm a Montanan, and it's summertime, and I was conceived in the summer of love, 1951, in the Great Bear Wilderness in July, in a canvas-sided tent. My mother told me these stories. She was 17 or 18. I don't know. She lied about her age a lot. But my father was 34. And he took her camping. Now, my father was a dyed-in-the-wool cowboy. Okay? Custom boots, Stetson hat. He was a saddle maker, wilderness packer, oil field worker, inventor. I think he did a few other things too, but well, he married a lot of women. He did that well too.
That was correct.
But so he took my mother up into the wilderness. My mother was a city girl, okay? So the funniest story she told me about my father was that he got caught by a bear taking a shit in the woods. And she said, I have never seen your father pull his pants up so fast. The best story that she told me about her was there was this stream not far from their camp, and when my dad would go off with the guys he was packing in the wilderness, right? My mom would get naked and get in this stream for her bath. And it's like pristine Montana, you know, she's laying there, the water rolling over her. She looked up one day and realized that there was a fire tower up in the trees. There was a young man on the deck with binoculars. She said, I moved pretty fast too. My father would often clean his guns on the table after dinner before it was my nighty-night time. I was probably about 3. And he had a lot of guns. He had every kind of gun. Why not? He loved guns. He was a gunsmith, right? So we would have conversations. And these were Daddy's rules for guns. Don't touch a gun if you don't know how to use it. Never, Susie, never play Russian roulette, especially if you're drinking whiskey. If you're gonna pull a gun on somebody, mean it. And if you mean it, make sure the safety's off before you pull it. And never, honey, never pull a gun on your husband, because your mother has shown me that a well-aimed cast iron frying pan can knock some sense into a man without leaving you a widow. So at 9 years old, I decided to go. I was hanging with kind of some wild 10-year-old boys, and they were shooting a BB gun at birds. And I'm like, I want to shoot that gun. And they're like, you're a girl. My daddy told me I could shoot a gun if I know how to use it. Do you know how to use it? No. Show me. So he did. And I aimed it.
Killed the bird.
I never shot a gun again. But I did ride a pony without a saddle when I was about 10. I don't know, the pony was about here, or I was about here and the pony was about there. So when I got on him, my feet were like this far from the ground, you know what I mean? And the bastard ran away with me. I don't know how far he ran, a mile, 2 miles, it could have been 10 miles. We're on the prairie, there's nothing, nobody, and I'm like, I was raised by a horseman, right? Grab the mane. Screaming. Well, I don't know if the pony got rid of me or if I just fell off. But it was in a patch of cactus. And you know, they're really sweet. They're just tiny little cactuses with these beautiful yellow flowers. But you don't want them in you. My mother pulled them out with pliers. I don't even know how I got home. You know what I mean? I was in shock from that pony. I think he knew where that patch was. He ran right to it. I've only been thrown off a horse once since then. And I was in my late 30s. And I should have never gotten on a horse with an English saddle because I'm a Western girl. And it was a young male. And he wiped me off on a fence. And I rolled, came to a stand and pissed my pants. And I just stood there like this. Wow. And then I laid in the grass and dried my pants so I could go to dinner. And the truth is, a cowboy would have done the same thing. He wasn't going to say, I got to run home and change. So when I was almost 16, we moved from Montana to New Jersey. What a shock. I was raised on an Indian reservation in the High Line. I knew who Indians and Hutterites were. White Norwegians who made lefse. Potato salad. I end up in a town with 95% Italian, and I'm one of the minority. I was white and Catholic. So there were a couple Italian girls who were like, when I walked into that school, they went, oh my God, we gotta kill her. And of course I had a red bow in my hair, and I was wearing a red dress when I walked in to a high school that was 4 times bigger than any school I'd been in, right? I'm just like, hi, hi. Killer. So after 3 years of torture, right? They tortured me in the halls, they tortured me. I was graduated and I was at a pool party in the summertime, and I had a platinum blonde wig on. And I was dressed to the nines at this pool party, and across the room, Brahma Mama, who had tortured me for 3 years, made a comment, and I heard it. And I was like, really? And I jumped into the fray, and so did she. And the next thing I know, 4 guys are carrying me out, and one of them's got my wig. And I'm like, let me go. And they're like, no, not till you settle down. And I said, I'm going to kill her. I really never wanted to kill anybody, but so anyway. In the 1970s, I ended up in Minneapolis going to a city college, and I was in agriculture. I was taking agriculture, and I had to meet with my counselor. I was wearing one of my 35-cent 1930s designer dresses. My hair was in an Egyptian Cleopatra. And I had done my eyes. And I sat down and the guy was like, okay. You're going to take agriculture. And I said, yes, of course I am. He's like, are you sure? Yes, I grew up on a farm. Can't you tell? So I was living at Wino Flats in Minneapolis off 26th and Nicollet. And they were the old Pillsbury townhouses right next to each other. Gorgeous. All oak, you know. The bottom floor was the kitchen, you had your living room, and then there were 3 floors of bedrooms with bathrooms. And my room, I made a loft in my closet to sleep in with a window, everything. It was fabulous. And I was waiting for my Pell money to come in. I was starving. I was like a sack of potatoes with no potatoes in it. So I would sneak down to the kitchen and open the refrigerator at night and get a heel of white bread and a little bit of mayonnaise. That kept me going. And then I met my first husband, who I didn't like him the first time I saw him. I thought he was like a vampire or something. He's Czechoslovakian, and I don't know about you, but they're white people. They're really white people. He was. His hair was to here, blonde, bright blue eyes, and I'm like, I don't like him. I don't like him at all. Well, then this young filmmaker from the art school decided he wanted me and Vampire to be in a movie about a tortured poet. God. So the scene was shot up in Vampire's room, in his bed. And basically the scene was that he would put a gun to his head to kill himself, and I would sit up, have the blanket fall, and go. That was the scene. We rehearsed it a couple times. I'm like, all right, I think we've got this. Besides, tortured poets don't kill themselves, they just keep writing. So we did the movie. I don't know whatever happened to it. I don't think it even made the cons. But we smoked a bowl and moved in a week later. I wouldn't recommend it, to anybody. Smoke a bowl and move in with somebody. He was a philosophy major. No. And I learned after, the honeymoon was over fairly quickly, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, would you like to talk about it? No. After work? No. So I was getting a little fed up. So I looked at my bank account and I wrote a note. Dear Vampire, thank you for everything. I'm going to Montana to herd sheep. Sincerely, Susan. And I put it on the refrigerator because I knew we'd find it there, right? And then I emptied my bank account, bought a pair of spoon-toed, fry boots, and a knee chain, and he found me in the bus station. And he came in running and he said, I just spent a lot of money on cabs to the airport, the train. And there you are. So I didn't go to Montana. I wanted to come home, but we went hiking and I got really bad blisters from my new boots. And I actually did marry him several years later. at Wino Flats. I think the manager married us. I don't know if he had a license or not. But it only lasted 6 months. And we had driven my 67 black Pontiac with red interior to Minneapolis, and I sold it to him for a train ticket. And I arrived in Whitefish, Montana with a trunk, $30, and a 9-month-old baby. And he really didn't speak to me much after that, but I sure missed that car. I love that car. In the 1990s, I met Diego, and that was his nickname. He was Don Juan Diego, you know, handsome, not the brightest crane in the box, but, you know, he was fun. And he would come, he lived in San Francisco, and he would come to Missoula to see his daughter. And on the nights that our respective children were at their other parents' house, we would get together at my place and play music and drink wine and, you know. So we were doing that one night, and there was a loud knock on the front door. And he grabbed his pants and was in the bathroom, and I grabbed my robe and I answered the door, and it's a policeman. And I'm like, "Officer, is there a problem? Was the music too loud?" And he goes, "Oh, no. In fact, ma'am, your neighbor called in a potential domestic. He stated he saw some bizarre shadow puppet movement on the mini blinds of your picture window, and he was concerned." Officer, my boyfriend and I, we were dancing naked to flamenco music. Really? I'm sorry to bother you, ma'am. Carry on. About 3 months later, I'm sitting on the couch, 7 o'clock in the evening, with my little sweet 4-year-old next to me, and he calls on the phone and he's like, "Hey, Suze, let's have phone sex." I've never had phone sex. "Well, you can try." "Well, I can't right now. I have a kid sitting next to me." He's like, "Well, okay. I'll call you back at 10. So I put the baby to bed, right? And I'm thinking, I don't know how to have phone sex. And I'd seen a movie scene where this woman is giving phone sex for money and making a tuna sandwich. And I'm like, well, maybe I could do that. You know, I like tuna sandwiches, maybe. That would work for me, maybe. And so at 9:45, my oldest daughter shows up, and she's in front of the TV doing leg lifts to Johnny Carson when the phone rings. And it's Diego. "I'm drunk and naked. Let's do it." And I'm like, well, I can't. I have a kid in the room, a kid. And he's like, "Well, don't you have another phone?" And I'm like, "No. No, I don't have another phone." All right. I don't know. Just call me, okay, when you can. Just call me in the middle of the night, I don't care. I'm drunk. So, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm asleep happily. My daughter comes up and she goes, "Mom, there's a guy on the phone for you." And I pick up the phone and I'm like, club, you had another phone. Click.
Like that.
Well, it was true. I mean, in the late 90s, I had a boyfriend I just adored, Bob Bauer. A lot of people knew him. He was a herbalist. He loved Rolling Rock. And if you said the word marriage, he looked like a deer in headlights. But I loved him dearly. And I worked in his restaurant, him and Sprinkle's restaurant, the Tropicana. Now, Bob had never worked in a restaurant in his entire life. Not even carrying a dish, okay? And he's like all hot to be a prep cook. So I go in there, I'm a head waitress, and he has a Band-Aid on every hand, every finger, everything, everywhere. And he's on his way to the good food store to get some spices for chorizo. Now, eventually, he wrote this into a story. I mean, it's unbelievable, okay? He arrives at the good food store, and they're like, see him, and they put over the intercom, Bob Bauer, if you need help, let us know. He already had a reputation. So he's getting those little red peppers, and he goes, oh, to hell with the scooper.
Oh.
Knocks the jar over and spills the red peppers all over the counter. So he's like cleaning them up, right? And then he's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. So he goes into the bathroom and he does what he needs to do. And as he's walking out, he's like, oh, holy shit. I'm on fire. He runs back in, drops his pants, fills the sink, gets water everywhere, right? When he comes out, he dries himself up, he comes out, he goes, you're gonna need a mop in the bathroom. My kids used to say, Mom, Bob had a 1947 Dodge coupe. Oh God, it was gorgeous, right? They're like, Mom, could Bob not take us to school in the morning because when we pull up and open the door, beer cans fall out? Bob was something though, he really was. I enjoyed his company immensely. I've been married 4 times, divorced 5. I finally realized I'm just not the marrying kind. It's okay, you know what I mean? It's all right to not be that kind. And I don't know how those guys feel about it, but I think they got over it. I just want to thank all of you for coming, and you know, there's a time for everything. There's a time to drink tequila and a time not to drink tequila. There's a time to love, a time of sorrow, but laughter is always the best medicine. Thank you.